What's going on, gang? It's your boy Phantom Fuego, and you are tuned into today's edition of EQ is Life. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Hope you guys had a phenomenal weekend. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. As always, any questions and or comments, EQ is Life 247 at gmail.com. Companies and coders looking to have your applications, your new EQs reviewed on the show. EQ is Life 247 at gmail.com. Artists interested in having their songs mixed on the show. EQ is Life 247 at gmail.com. Alright, let's jump into it. As we can hear, guys, the most prominent piece of your kit, and when I say kit, I mean your drum kit, the most prominent instrument, the most prominent drum in your kit is generally going to be your snare drum. When it's hit, very consistently throughout your progression of your song, and the intensity, velocity, what have you, the sound of the drum cuts through mixes, it cuts through songs at a very consistent clip. You're going to constantly hear it as the pulse. It's going to be that, constantly hitting kick, drum, snare, kick, drum, snare. You're constantly going to hear it. So let's look at some ways we can carve out a really nice sound with our EQ really quickly. All right. Working on the song. Summertime by my artist Motivation. Let's check it out. Highlight this area of the E. Gonna highlight this area of the snare. I have loop playback on, so that way as I'm playing this back, I can constantly get a loop of it. Really good for when you're mixing. Solo this area real quick, and I just have the basic trim plugin, and that's a lot. Let's bring that down a little bit and get some more appropriate levels before we're hitting our EQ. That's better. And I'm going into the EQ, and let's see what I've done here. And I'll redo this so we can check it out together. So pretty much what I did, guys, was the following. I started in the high mids, and I brought out what we know as point. As we spoke about in the previous videos, please feel free to refresh if you haven't gotten to check those out yet, and this is your first video. Welcome to the EQ is Life series. Please feel free to check out the rest of the videos on YouTube or Facebook. We talked about how point is a set of frequencies that the ear is very sensitive to, and that's between 2 and 5 kilohertz range. So let's bring out a little bit of 5K. Started top down with this one. Then after I brought out that bit of point, remember we're using wide cues because we're adding. I thought it'd be a good idea to bring in some air. Air is anything, again, the stuff that doesn't really add noticeably to the volume, but just kind of gives a sheen or a gloss around the sound. You can kind of hear that. Very nice. And I dialed in about 6 decibels in the high mid area and about 3 decibels in F gain way up top in the 10 plus. And I'm using a shelving option over here as opposed to another bell curve. So you see that's creating this shelf, creating this slope, which adds gain until it gets to my target frequency and then stays straight, adding gain from then on. And now I want to add a little bit of body to the bottom of the sound. And again, we talked about anywhere from 120 to 240 is a good body area. So I'm going to do that around, I like where it's at around 180 for the target frequency. Let's listen to that in the track. Bypass.
It's the summertime. Don't act like you don't know. But then again, you gotta tell me like I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know.
It's really nice. Bypassed again.
It's the summertime. Don't act like
With
you
it
don't
on.
know. But then again, you gotta tell me like I don't know. And I don't know.
Brought it right to the front of the mix.
I don't know.
As always, any questions and or comments, EQisLife247@gmail.com. EQisLife247@gmail.com. This is Phantom Fuego, and you've been checking out today's edition of EQ is Life. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Don't act like you don't know. But then again, you gotta tell me like I don't know. And I don't know.